In this video we talk about the new baseboard. The static grass applicator finally arrived, and I glued down some track underlay. Hi, I'm Sean and welcome to the layout. As you can see, lot's been happening the last 2 days. I've now finally finished the fourth baseboard, the benchwork for the fourth baseboard, and it's now really starting to come to life now. So I've now, as far as I've got this raised section in here, which is where the two main running lines come off along here, and then eventually it will spiral around underneath here, along there, and then under the bridge or under the tunnel, where it then goes under the second baseboard. Now I'll talk through the materials that I used and how I went about making this baseboard. So I even made myself some notes. Right, so we're gonna start with the materials. The baseboard itself is 9mm plywood, and it's in a 2 foot by 4 foot sheet. Now I've got two of these, one for the actual baseboard itself, and the other one just for the bits like this, because these are all 9mm ply. So I'm trying to cut all these bits out of one sheet and trying to waste less as possible, if it makes any sense. So yeah, that's what I use for the main baseboard. Now for the actual framework, I use this softwood timber, which is 20 by 94mm softwood timber, and it comes in 2.4 meter lengths. Now I've got a pack of 4, and they do go a long way for these baseboards. Now what I've done is, the softwood timber is used to make the frame. So you see the screws going across. This is where I use the softwood timber to make all the framework. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, all the framework there. Yeah, the framework on this one was quite tricky because I've got this extra bit as well. That's got like a cutout there. So I kind of had to do something a bit different there. Right. Now all the screws used for the baseboard, I use these screws, these wood screws. Literally, these screws are going to last me the whole build. There's 500 screws in this box, and they are 5mm diameter. So basically the diameter of the screw itself, and they're 44mm long. So basically the length, it's the length of the screw. It's 40mm, sorry. That's the length of the screw. Now I use them screws all the way throughout the baseboard building. I don't use anything different other than these. The only time I use anything different is when I'm bolting the baseboards together, because they're M18 bolts, nuts and bolts and washers to bolt the baseboards together. Right, so what's next? Right, I'll talk about how I make the legs now. So this is one of my legs, and they're not attached. So literally, when it comes to taking this down, these legs just slot out. They're not screwed in or anything like that. And I've got a softwood. I've got the layout, the layout frame sitting on a softwood timber brace. That helps keep it level. The way I attach this, I'm gonna try and show you the best way I can. You should see there, got like a bit of 44 by 44 there, and then you got the 44 leg. So I'm just gonna show you the best I can how I did that. Right, so if you imagine this is the side frame of the baseboard, I've got a small 44 by 44 softwood timber, square timber. Now this I would cut down to roughly the height of the side of the softwood timber. Now think of this as the leg, same material. It's 44 by 44 square timber, same material. And I think same with the soft timber, they come in 2.4 meter lengths, and I've got a pack of 4. So if what I've drawn a pencil line there. Now if you think maybe there's, if you imagine there's a softwood timber, one of these timbers there going like that, so just imagine that's there. So what I do, I put the leg in there, and then this bit will be screwed on to the softwood timber. So it'll be like that. So basically what will happen is the leg should be able to come out like that with the softwood framework there. So this will be sandwiched between the softwood framework and this this square timber here. So basically when it comes to putting up the baseboards, it just slots in. Now the other thing to note is that when you do it this way, there has to be a bracing from this leg to the other leg. Now the bracing has to be going across like that, because basically on the other side framework will have the exact same as this, and basically this pushes the leg into the frame where the bracing goes across, and then you have the same thing that's forcing it into place. So if I could just show you, a bit awkward under here, a bit crunched down, but you see there's the square timber stop there, the square timber stop there, there's a leg there, there's a leg there of square timber, and this is softwood timber which is acting as a brace, which braces from there to there, so it will stop these legs from folding inwards, whereas these stoppers will stop the legs from folding forwards, if it makes any sense. So everything is kind of pressured in, if it makes any sense. So that's how I make my legs and mount my legs on. Right, so I'm now gonna have a look at my rough idea for this bit. Yeah, as you see, the track runs across this bit. This gap here is where I plan to make a bridge, and not really sure on what bridge. Yeah, I've got some ideas in my head. One idea of possibly revolving cocktail sticks, maybe sort of like a bit of a bridge like that possibly, or maybe a viaduct, we don't know yet. It's all in the process. With this bit, I've introduced a slight incline ahead of time for when it corkscrews down. I think this size 17.5 in height, then it drops down to here to 15.5, which gives it a nice gradual gradient. So I'm trying to follow that the rest of the way round. If it kind of goes the way it's going, or way I'm hoping it's going, it's going to come underneath there. I'm thinking about maybe like a small station there. Now Helgen has announced they're doing a bubble car DMU train, so I'm pretty excited about that, and that'll work pretty well in what I've got planned here. So I'm thinking track come round like that, station there, and then go on this side, so the tracks go there. I'm thinking about maybe like a switch track there, and a track going into a head shunt, and then maybe going into an engine shed here. This building was actually one of the first. It was the actual first thing I bought in TT120, and I just wanted to get a building to basically evaluate sort of size, because when I bought this I had no idea of sizes and stuff like that. It was all completely new to me. So that was one of the first buildings I got, and I've been trying to find a place to use it, and I think this place would be ideal. So I'd be possibly going there, head shunt up there, maybe a little bay platform for the DMU, because this would be another bridge as well, maybe a bit of landscape possibly. I think this side I'm trying to make it less country like the other bits, and a bit more, coming up to a town, maybe like a town station, but I don't know how much I can really fit in this space. But it's coming along, which is good. Right, enough about the layout. Let's talk about the grass applicator that finally arrived a couple of days ago. Right, it's my latest tool purchase, the static grass applicator. I paid, I think it was £18 off Amazon. If you haven't seen one of these, how this works is you put like static grass fibres in there, which is just little long grains of scatter. Basically, you get them in like 2mm, 3mm, 1mm, and it'll say on the packet, like static grass on the packet, so you'll know which one it is. But basically what happens is you put the static grass in the pot. Now you put the cap on. Now the cap is like a mesh, a metal mesh, and you've got this wire that's got to be in contact with this metal mesh. So you've got your material in there, you screw it on, and that wire's in contact with the mesh. Now this wire is your ground wire, which you hold like that when you're putting down the static grass. So what I do is where you want static grass, you brush on some PVA glue, hold down the PVA glue, and then hold the button, and you just shake it on, and then static grass will form. I'll do a video on using this another time, but I just want to talk about it. It's battery powered by 2 AA batteries. Now the batteries don't come included, so you're going to have to buy the batteries. I may just stuck some cheap ones in there from Aldi's. They work pretty well. Right, so that's the applicator, and what comes with it, you get the instruction manual. It tells you how to do it, and all the do's and don'ts. And then you get 3 bags of static grass of all different shades. This one's a green, but with like a bit of a mixture of tones in there. I have used some of these already for just some testing, because I hadn't used one before, so I've done some testing on some rough bits. Some more darker one there. Try bring out some of the fibres. See, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's like little long bits of fibres. It's probably about 2 mil fibres. The same here, you got like a lighter green. Yeah. The good thing is these all can all be mixed. Like, you could do one layer of static grass, let that dry, spray some spray glue over the top of that, and then add another layer of a different colour in different patches, which then gives a bit of variety. I've got a yellow one as well, which you probably see the fibres better there. Yeah, a little bit better. But yeah, I'm guessing you use that for maybe like bits of dead grass. So, may use them in conjunction with these ones, but not as much as this one. So you just want some blades of just dead grass basically. Also comes with this brush as well, which is handy. So basically when you got bits of static grass in places that you didn't want it, you just brush it away. Yeah. It's very handy. Okay, right, let's go and lay some cork underlay down. Looks like my railway cat has come to join us. Hello, kitty. Kitty. Yes, my railway cat, kitty cat. Every railway's got to have a kitty cat, and every model railway's got to have a kitty cat, and this is my kitty cat. She's a lovely kitty cat. Okay, right, what we're going to do is we're going to lay some track underlay just along this stretch here, because I won't do any on the curves yet. I'll do the ones on the curves off camera. get a bit complicated. Right, so what I'm using for this, so I'm using 3mm cork underlay, and I think this is actually for double O, but it'll still work. It'll still work the same. Basically, the idea of cork underlay is that basically when the train's going along, the train will run a little bit smoother, and also when the train is running on just this, it'll have a rumble, like quite a loud rumble, whereas if it was running on cork underlay first, it takes some of the rumble out of the train going across. And also if you've got sound locos, the rumble can kind of blank out some of the sound a bit, from the sound locos. So having cork underlay would be ideal to drown out the roaring sound, basically, so you can hear more of the sound effects of the loco itself. Right, so how we're going to start off is roughly, so say there to there. Cut that strip. So you have a strip cork underlay like that. Now I'm going to do another strip because it's got the dual track up here. So I've got my other strip. I'm going to cut like that. So now I've got 2 strips of cork underlay ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is get my PVA glue. So I'm just going to tear a strip back off. I'm just going to get my PVA glue. Just going to brush on PVA. Now at this stage, don't get frugal with the glue. You really want to be generous with the PVA when it comes to sticking this cork down. You don't want it picking up off the edges. So if you be very, very generous with the glue. It's just literally brushing on like that. Okay, so we've got a nice film there of PVA. What I want to do is just simply push the underlay into the glue. Like so. Right, so that's now attached. Now just glue the other side down. The other thing this underlay does, it gives you a nice ballast shoulder as well. You look at real railways, this, it always seems like the track is on top of a mound of ballast. It's not all flat to the ground, if it makes any sense. Gives a nice ballast shoulder. When you got a bit like this, where it's like where the track is high up and very visible from the side angle, yeah, that ballast shoulder really makes a difference. Okay, so I've got my glue down. Same again. Just want to push down on it. So we're here to the glue. Just checking the downers here. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. I haven't got the track for this bit yet, so I've just got some offcuts bits of track that I'm just testing. Now I've got to get some of the DC power base plates, before I do this bit of track, because this inside line where it goes up, it's going to be going uphill here, so all this will need DCC power base, and I will also need to put the DCC power base up to release to about here, because if you probably a bit further forward actually, because if you think the loco is still taking the weight of the carriages will still be on the incline, so it still needs that extra traction going along this bit to take the carriages off the incline. Right, so there you see on the camera, it's starting to peel off. Now, just put some extra glue there, might not be enough. Right, so what you do now to combat this is you get as many heavy things as possible, and quite simply just weigh them down. So anything heavy, you just pull it along the cork. Anything heavy, leave that overnight, and that should be solid. That shouldn't peel off after that. So I've got to do that to the rest of the curve there, but I'll do that in another video, because there is a way of doing that I'll explain in another video. But first I'll show you some static grass that I was doing earlier off camera. This is some static grass I was doing earlier. So if you look at this one, this hasn't got any static grass on it. That one's got static grass on it. So if zoom in, it's Excuse me, camera work. So you just see the fibres, and that's the sort of effect you get with a static applicator. Always just gives the grass a bit more depth. It's a really good bit of kit. I never had one before, but I kind of regret not getting one earlier. It's really good. It really is a good bit of kit. That just about wraps up the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, if you could please like and subscribe, it'll help out the channel, and I'll be very grateful if you could like and subscribe. Till next time, you all take care. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.